Now to the some of the specific questions you asked of yourself, answered that the Pope is the same. So we don't have different popes. So they are Pope no. They have bishops, just as we have bishops and then we have Pope, you know. Their bishop is sometimes called a patriarch. Patriarch, they use that word patriarch, but it means bishop, So their bishops are all part of the Catholic Church, okay. So we have only one pope. They have only one pope. They don't have different pope. No, our pope is their pope. Okay, so the same pope for all of us. Because as I've said, we are the same church. As I use the word, two sides, of the same coin. It's like two hands, but the same body. Okay, so two legs, but the same body. So we are not different at all. We are in the same body, but we have two different hands. We are the same body, have two different legs. It's put that way. So the same Catholic Church, just that let me say room one, room two, I'll call it, kind of, in and out, but the same room, the same church. So whatever we have is for them, whatever they have is for us. It's just that we do things differently because of how the faith came to us and how the faith went to them. As I explained in the first audio, those who brought it to them, this is how they practice it. So they followed it. And those who brought it to us, this is how they practice it. So we also follow this. But in the same faith, because they all came from Jesus and went there and came here. So the same understanding, the same seven sacraments, everything is the same. But how we go about them differently, how we dress differently, how we sing differently, the language we use differently. And because of the cultural backgrounds and influences that came with them. Okay, so those are the specifics. All right, some other thing is that, they take all the sacraments of initiation, baptism, confirmation, Holy Eucharist at the same time. Now we in the Roman Catholic Church, we separate them, take baptism, we take confirmation, Holy Eucharist. No, we don't take them on the same day, but for them, if we are receiving, take all the three on the same day. Okay, so that's quite different. Even for children, we don't give communion to people who are children. For them, children take communion once you are baptized, you take communion. Okay, it's strange because you are not used to it, but when you enter their world and you understand of what they are receiving is very simple. A number, a child is born, she eats, and when you give birth to a child, don't wait for him to be 7 years before he start eating. So for them, the communion is not for only adults. Even a baby takes communion because it's spiritual food. Once the baby is baptized, the baby takes communion. Okay. As I'm saying, there's so much into this. If I want to talk, I'll give a whole lecture. Okay. Then some other thing is that then for this, which is interesting, their priests have the option of marrying. Okay, so the priest can marry or not marry, depends on the person. If you want to be a priest, if you want to marry before you ordain a priest. If you don't want to marry to you become like us, those in the Western church. We don't marry at all. For them, there's option. You can marry or not marry. But of course, you want to marry, you marry before you ordain a priest. As I keep saying, a priest cannot marry, but a married person can be a priest. So once you ordain a priest, there's no way you can marry. If you want to be marry before and be a priest, then you have to marry before you're ordained. So in their case, they marry and then they become priests. So they are priests who are married, not that they became priests and married. No. Sometimes this confusion is there. People think that let the priest marry. It's not possible. It's not possible. Priests cannot marry because once you're ordained, there's no way you can get married. That ordination, what do you call it, the seal received that cannot make you marry. So, but you should be married already before you're ordained, then that one no problem. So if somebody marries before he's ordained, like for them, and the wife dies, he cannot marry again. He cannot marry again. So though they marry before they are ordained, once they ordain and their wives die, they can't marry again because they're priests already, so they can't marry. Okay. This is just theology. So that is something different. But then if they want a bishop like their bishops, they go to those who are not married. They don't, those priests who are married, they can't be bishops. So you are told if you want to be a priest and marry, there's no way you become a bishop. Only those priests who are not married are chosen to become their bishops. And like us, we don't marry. So every priest is qualified to be a bishop in the Roman Catholic Church because we don't marry. But in their church, saying they have the option, it's only the priests who don't marry who are chosen to become their bishops. And they have many actually. You know, People think that marriage will make people become priests. It's not true. Go there. They have the option, but still, it's not. They are not getting the numbers. They are not getting the numbers. Okay. Now, what again can I say? I mentioned language, different languages. I mentioned dressing, vestment. I mentioned bishops. I mentioned sacraments. Then the question about, yes, so you can go to their mass, but the condition is that only and only if you cannot find a Roman Catholic church. So in case you travel to where, I don't know, Armenia, Lebanon, those places that we don't have the Catholic Church, Roman Catholic, as you say, Roman Catholic Church, then you can go to their mass. So you only take part in their sacrament when your Catholic Church is not available. But I don't say that if there's Roman Catholic Church at where you stay, and there's also like in Accra, I know they have some few places where we have the Roman Catholic Church and then the Maronites. Maronites are part of them. Okay. So you don't say that, oh, I like the Eastern people, so I'm going to their mass. No, you can't. Because there's a Roman Catholic Church there. You are not allowed. The only way you can go to their mass and take part in their sacrament is when your Catholic church is not available, or when your priest is not available. Then you can go to their mass, you can go for confession, their place. But once your priest is available, your Catholic church is available, you cannot go to their mass. You cannot go to their sacrament. Okay. I hope you understand the theology there. It means that the church will not let you starve yourself, when you cannot find your own church. But you can't go to Catholic cannot go to a Protestant church like Praise Be or Methodist, where you cannot find Catholic church. No, because they are not the same. They are not like us. These people are, they are Catholics like us. So when you cannot find your Roman Catholic church, you can go to their church and participate in their worship. Okay, I think I've answered basically the question that you were asking. As I say, please go and read for more. God bless you. And please pray for me.